Everyone, as most of you know, this year CCF launched its first ever Originals Worship album, Majestic. And this album is really a testimony of God's faithfulness. Most of you may not know, but this project started over 10 years ago with a handful of volunteers who wanted to heed the call to sing and make new songs unto the Lord. In Psalm 96 it says, "Sing a new song unto the Lord, sing to the Lord all the earth." But like many visions that God gives, sometimes he really allows the death of the vision. And so after almost 8-9 years, in 2017, when the team reorganized, we decided maybe this is the year that God would allow us to start to do the album again. And from 2018 until about the end of 2018, there was time to planning. And from the time that the album was recorded until the time of its release in 2019, it was just 3 months of all of that recording, producing, and releasing. And you know, when God calls us and when he brings us to the point of actually doing something, it can be so fast. There's a verse in 1 Thessalonians 5:24 that says, "Faithful is he who calls you, and he will bring it to pass." So this is really the story of the album. It's about God's faithfulness. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever asked, why was the album called Majestic? Well, it's precisely because God is majestic, and we wanted Exalt Worship, the Carrier Band, to exalt Jesus, because God is worthy of all our honor, praise, and glory. You know, in the album, there are songs lined up in a sequence for a specific reason. Because the first part says that God is amazing, that he is awesome, that you are wonderful, Lord of all, sovereign God above. And it's really about honoring God for who he is. And then it goes on to talk about how there is no other like Jesus, and that he is majestic and magnificent and glorious. And then he's also in control and sovereign. And that's really who God is. He is in control of our lives. And if we allow him to be, he can really move in wonderful ways. And then it talks about him being great and worthy of all honor and glory. But because of that, we will run this race faithfully, because God is faithful. So I just want to share a little bit of that story so that you guys are encouraged to know that when God does give you a vision, sometimes it may die, but he brings it back at the perfect time so that he will be most glorified. Another reason why I wanted to talk to you guys today is because we wanted to let you know that aside from the digital releases of the song, Spotify, iTunes, and Apple, which I'm sure many of you have already heard, we do have a physical copy of this album. Since it's the first ever album of CCF, this was the only time that we figured we would do like a CD release, because it's kind of a memorabilia and some sort of commemorative thing. And so here's a sample of the album that will be available for you again this October 13th. And it's going to be also available in the satellites as soon as we get it out there for those of you who are out in the satellites and the hubs. But there are 2 reasons why we did have a physical copy. One is because it's just nice to have like an actual copy, and it kind of is a testimony of God's faithfulness. And secondly, we wanted you to be able to get a copy of the album and give it to your friends or family, and hopefully it would be a blessing to them too. Now, we know that CDs are a little outdated, but we still have CDs in our car, and we can still share that with those that we love. And so we want to encourage you to get a copy, and also everything that you get will be feeded back into the ministry so that we can produce more songs for Jesus and really heed the call of God to sing new songs to him. And hopefully through that, help others come to know Christ through new songs. So thank you so much, and we hope that you will be blessed through this album. God bless you all.